Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about one of the most requested let's talk about subjects I have ever had. So obviously with Christmas just gone, I knew that diets and like feeling guilty about all the chocolate puddings and all the mince pies that you ate at Christmas, or if you're next level like me, like the fact that you woke up and literally had chocolate for breakfast every single day over Christmas, like I knew that that feeling would be something that a lot of us would be feeling at this time of year. And honestly my main worry is the idea of you guys at home worrying and criticizing your bodies because of the fact that you've had fun over the Christmas period. So naturally, as humans, like whether you like to admit it or not, generally speaking, we care about how we look. Some of us care about how we look way more than others, and some of us care way less than others. But the bottom line is that most of us do seem to care, which I've gathered by the amount of people that have asked for us to talk about body image. So I just thought right now we're at that time of the year where we've just launched into the whole new year, new me, all that bollocks. And I just thought that right now would be a really, really good time for us, yeah, me and you, to sit down and talk about body image. So before we fully get into the video, as I always do, I'm just going to get my shout outs out the way. So these shout outs strictly go to people who comment nice, supportive, lovely, kind things on my videos. I see you guys and I wanted to give you guys a minute to get a shout out for being such a nice and supportive person. So first shout out is going to someone called Talia Dixon. So her comment's on the screen for you now. My angel, this comment honestly made me so happy, like it made me smile so much. Firstly, I think it's so cute that you've taken the time to compliment my makeup. Obviously you don't have to do that, and I absolutely love it so much when people actually enjoy my makeup tutorials. So thank you so much for sharing your support, and thank you so much for sharing my story with your friends as well. I know I don't know you guys, but thank you so much for your support and I love you all. Tell your friends to come over and start commenting because I want to give them shout outs too. So if you're one of Talia's friends, then comment down below and I'll see you soon for a shout out. Shout out number 2 is going to someone called Hajar8255. So their comment's on the screen for you now. This is quite a long comment, so just take a second to read through it because it's so cute. I love you so much. Thank you so much for giving me your support. Honestly, I just adore you. And also, you literally made my day this morning when I saw this comment, because I don't know if this is really like amateur YouTuber of me, but I think you're the first person that's actually said that they've gone out and brought a palette, like because I've recommended it. So yeah, I just wanted you to know that your comment low-key made me so happy. So shout outs out the way, I'm just gonna crack straight on with this let's talk about video. So let's just get on with it. By the way guys, can we just talk about my background? Like, I'm sorry, I know it looks awful, like I know this is all like a mess, like my curtains are pulled really badly. My mum is gonna fucking have me for that, like she is gonna be so annoyed that I've filmed with my curtain like that, but it's cool. I'm basically just in a bit of a space right now where I just hate my bedroom. Like I really need to redo my entire bedroom because it is just so ugly and just so... I usually like to film like in front of a white wall for my makeup tutorials, but I just feel like when I'm doing like a talky video like this, like I need to sit down, get comfy, it needs to be a little bit more relaxed. So that's why my background's a little bit today, but let's just ignore that and let's just pretend that I do have my shit together and that I'm a good YouTuber. Don't forget to subscribe. So we're going to start off today with what is body image. So to me, body image is the way that you see yourself, and it's also the thoughts and feelings that spring to your mind like when you do see yourself in the mirror and how you feel about the way that your body looks. So as we all know, like these thoughts can change on a daily basis. We all know very well that some days you go to the mirror and you're like, girl, look at you with your stomach on flat and ooh that ass. But then other days, we all know too well that you might look in the mirror and think, bitch, I was gonna say something then, but I feel like that was more powerful. And although I do think like it is kind of natural to look at yourself and like to want yourself to look a way that pleases you, like no one wants to look in the mirror and think, oh, I look like shit. But personally, I think that over time we have taught ourselves and we have learned how to be like overly critical of ourselves and our bodies. And I genuinely feel like it's got a lot to do with the fact that for such a long time now, and increasingly so, we've kind of been like fed that the perfect body is this hourglass shape. You know, we want a big fat ass like Kim K, we want a tiny little waist like Nicki Minaj, we want no signs of body hair, we don't want stretch marks, we want airbrush. Like, it actually sounds dumb to say it out loud, doesn't it? We have perceived that as what we need and what we need to aim for. And this isn't news, like this this has been a thing forever. Like as a kid, do you remember looking at your Barbie and you know, the perky boobs, the tiny waist, the nice hips, pert bum, and as a kid you kind of allow yourself to believe that this is like the natural form that your body takes, like this is the natural form of a healthy body, you know, from the actresses that we see cast in popular movies when we're kids, the angles that choose not to include the belly rolls or the stretch marks or the spots. Even the front pages of beauty magazines say things like how to reach your goal weight in 2019, how to get a Kim Kardashian bum. And genuinely, like as young people, we interpret these things that we see in the movies and that we see in the magazines and that we see on the TV as perfect. We interpret that as what things are meant to be like. I remember as a kid, like obviously I'm mixed race, my mum's Nigerian, you know, so my natural hair is like really frizzy ethnic hair, like it's really, really difficult. I remember as a kid, like even when I was in like my first years of school, I remember looking at the other girls' hair and thinking, that's so unfair. Like why does their hair lay flat and why does it swish around when they walk? I remember spending so much of my young life like literally staring at other girls and being jealous of the fact that I was different and the fact that I stuck out like a sore thumb and everyone wanted to squeeze my hair and fluff it up and say it looked like candy floss. But bitch, I just want straight hair. Like I want it to just sit there and just blend in. Like I feel like the reason I had such a strong, deep hate for my hair and the way that I looked and the fact that it was different to other people. When I was a kid, when I was that age, there weren't that many girls out there, like mixed race girls, embracing their curls, embracing their natural hair. You know, I couldn't easily tune in to a kid across the world with similar hair to me, telling me how to define my curls and telling me how to look after them and make them amazing and strong. Like I really, really, truly felt like I was looking up to all of these models who just looked so different to me. Like, and it's honestly so sad to me that I allowed myself to develop like this complex about the way that I looked because it was different. But I know all of you girls out there with chemically relaxed, over straightened, damaged hair feel me when they think back to how different they may have felt if they had had like more encouragement or I don't know, even more self-motivation to just embrace what you had and be accepting of what you had rather than trying to change it, you know, and mold it into what everyone else has. So let's move on to body positivity. So body positivity was basically created as a movement to help every person believe that we should have a positive body image of ourselves and we should be accepting of our bodies and the bodies of others no matter how they are. Its aim is basically to celebrate like all body types, all body sizes. It looks to include like people of all genders, of all ages, of all sexual orientation, colour, people with disabilities. Like it is just looking to basically be a nice person and not put other people down or devalue them because they don't look the way that you think that they should look. And that includes yourself. Like, we're not putting ourselves down in 2019, okay? It's the motto. So we are so lucky to be where we are currently because we are so much more accepting as a society in general than we were even when I was younger, you know, and that wasn't long ago. However, there is definitely still an idea out there of the ideal body, and genuinely people do still have a problem with fat people. Like they have an issue with fatness. There is still a general idea amongst people that fat is wrong and thin is right. Now I'm by no means saying that I agree with that because I do not. Now I need to clarify a second. The body positivity movement isn't something that you can pick up and put down as and when you please. It isn't okay to be commenting on someone with a little bit of curve and a little bit of extra shape to the point where you think it's okay. You can't be over on those pictures. Like, yes, slay queen, we love a curvy queen. Like, we cannot be doing that if we're over here commenting on bigger girls' pictures being like, you know, this is really unhealthy. I think you should lose some weight. Like, I do not think that it should work like that at all. And although I also don't think it's great to like promote lifestyles which are clearly unhealthy, like I don't believe that we should encourage poor health where, you know, you can be as positive as you want about your body and about your size, but there does reach a point where you're actually like harming your body. So, you know, I just feel like you need to just be kind of like kind to yourself and you need to not think about I'm too fat or I look too big. You need to be thinking about what your insides are like and if you're keeping keeping your body strong enough, well enough, capable enough of carrying you for the rest of your life. But with that said, I do also really strongly believe that it's really important to accept everyone, and I think it's important to encourage people and teach people that they can be and feel as bad as the next bitch. You know, whether they're double the size of her, whether they're half the size of her, whether they're gay, straight, broke, rich, whatever. Body positivity is rooted in learning how to love yourself and your body. There's always going to be bodies out there in this world that other people maybe look at and think, you know, that's not my type, that's not what I like. And that's fine. Like, you know, I don't feel like criticism is limited to just like a certain body type. I feel like, you know, in someone's opinion, you can be too skinny, you can be too fat, you can be too tall, you can be too short. Any body type can attract judgment, and that is why I feel like the body positivity movement is so important, because it focuses more on accepting the things that are wrong or considered wrong. I don't feel like body positivity tries to normalize obesity as much as it more like invites people to actually look in the mirror and think, yeah, I'm not perfect, but I actually like it. Like, I like me, and I look at me and I think, yeah. If someone has a body that doesn't please you, like someone's a bit larger than your preference, why does that mean that they can't share their bodies? Why does that mean that they can't take pictures and be proud of their curves and post their curves and, you know, embrace them? Like, it's their body. They have to live with that every single day. When people start criticizing plus size models and they're like, oh, this is unhealthy, why are we promoting obesity? Like, I found a quote that literally supports how I feel about this so well. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you now. The quote is by someone called Alexis Connaughton, who is a psychologist and also the founder of the Anti-Diet Plan. So the quote is, "The idea that showing images of unapologetic fat women is somehow going to create an epidemic of fatness is one of the most absurd things that I've ever heard." And honestly, that just says it, doesn't it? Like, why are we scared of letting fat people love themselves? Like, why are we scared of that? You know, we're not going to catch it. We don't have to be the same if we don't like that. And in this social media society that we've like grown up in and that we're so like embedded into now, I feel like it's become really normal to like follow celebrities and, you know, offer your support and encouragement to celebrities. You know, you're liking off every perfect picture and commenting on every post, and more time you actually end up staring at the photo and zooming in on these pictures like a mad woman, and you start questioning if your body's wrong. Or you might be thinking about how your hip dip goes in and it doesn't curve out like the Fashion Nova models. It's really sad to admit, and I absolutely hate it, but sometimes there are photos on your timeline that literally make you think, oh my god, I hate myself, why don't I look like that? And if you're finding yourself doing that a lot, then maybe you need to think about the people that you're following or the type of life that they're promoting. Maybe it doesn't fit in with your beliefs and your values, or maybe really thin, really tall, narrow model bodies aren't your type of body, you know. And if that's the case, if it upsets you to see and it disturbs you and unsettles you and maybe makes you feel a little bit insecure, then you don't have to follow it. But if it fits you better, like, there are people out there on Instagram like embracing their rolls of fat, embracing their stretch marks, and, you know, showing pictures of their raw spots with no makeup on and showing their mismatched complexions. And there's also a huge community out there that is supporting and accepting of that, and that is the body positive movement. I previously have been in a place where like I have just had like this perfect Instagram feed. I follow all of these models and every single post is just perfection. Like, everything's in place, everything's perfect. And it honestly can feel so relieving when you start to like break up your timeline and break up the perfection a little bit with just a little bit of like raw content. It is genuinely nice to sometimes have those perfect little photos broken up by pictures of belly rolls and stretch marks and imperfection. And some really great accounts that I follow who work to normalize normality again, basically. You know, they're working to normalize the fact that, you know, most of us do have roles, most of us do have stretch marks, most of us aren't models, and that's cool. So some accounts that I would definitely suggest that you go and follow. First one is Kenzie Brenner. She is great. She is so great. A must follow. And then we've also got Megan Jane Crabb. So her Instagram name is Body Posy Panda. And lastly, this is actually the first person that really kind of introduced me to this whole concept of body positivity and accepting yourself as the way that you are, and that is Megan Rose Lane. So all of their ads are on the screen for you now so that you can go and give them a follow. I promise you will not regret it. Like, if you are someone who is supportive of the body positive movement, like, these are some accounts that really will speak to you. So the next subject that we're going to go on to is dieting. I really wanted to cover this with you guys because I just really think it's an important subject for us to cover. So the same accounts that I just mentioned, those are the main accounts that really kind of helped me to develop my opinion on dieting and my thoughts on dieting. So I don't believe for a second that dieting is the answer to your body image issues. So we've got another quote from the same psychologist as the one earlier. So it's Alexis Connaughton again. It's absurd. The idea that teaching fat people to hate themselves will make them thin. That's what our culture has been doing for the past decade, and I certainly don't think that has led to anything except for increased rates of eating disorders, more health problems, and epidemic levels of body hatred in people of all sizes. And I completely agree with this quote, like, through and through. You know, I don't believe that dieting will be the answer to all of your prayers. And while the beauty magazines might not be lying that Jennifer lost 6 stone and feels $1 million, she's never felt better, like, you know, that's not necessarily untrue, but it's not necessarily going to be your story. And I personally think that it's really important to be aware that when an exercise plan or a diet or something like that starts to feel like a punishment, rather than doing it for the sake of your body feeling healthy and strong and grateful that you've done that, it's likely that the diet's not going to work. You know, naturally we resist punishment. Like, if you make it that, you know, for the whole of January, after binging on so much food at Christmas, you're eating nothing but clean, low-fat meals, no chocolate, no crisps, no sweets, no cans of Coke, absolutely banishing every food you enjoy from your life, you're gonna very quickly find yourself trying to cheat yourself. You're actually more likely to spend more time, like, trying to resist the temptation to eat that treat than the time that you'll actually spend eating that treat, not depriving yourself and allowing your mind and body to move forward, because you're satisfied and you're less resistant to the healthier diet and the exercise plan because it's not a punishment. One treat doesn't mean that you've ruined it. Like, diets can really quickly, like, become like almost like an obsession for some people, and they can really quickly become like very regimented and restricted, you know, like you're kind of following a rule book. 97% of people who actually diet like that end up regaining the weight later on, and a little bit more for luck. And I personally think this is because when you, like, break the rules of your diet, you end up thinking like, oh, I've blown it, and then you end up like just binging because you're like, oh well, I fucked it anyway, like, I'll start again tomorrow. How many times have we all done that? And although not everyone who does diet like this develops an eating disorder, it is far more likely for you to develop an eating disorder if you're restricting yourself on these regimented diets, and also if you're punishing yourself for breaking your diet. So from studies, it does show that you're more likely to become trapped in this battle between yourself and food and develop eating disorders, you know, or tendencies to, like, have really restrictive diets where you punish yourself. And even maybe if your weight, like, is the main problem, the main issue in your life that really upsets you more than anything else, and, you know, it's like #1 on your personal radar, then it's definitely worth considering that, like, a restrictive diet or a strict diet maybe isn't the way forward for you. Now, don't come for me, because above everything else, like, I do genuinely believe that anyone can do whatever the fuck they want with their body, like, it's yours, you know. And if making a change to your body is gonna absolutely transform your life and make you feel the best version of yourself that you can feel. You know, if a diet changed your life, then girl, I am so happy for you, and I'm so proud of you for achieving what you have. Diets undeniably do work for some people, they just do. I'm just sharing how I personally feel about going on diets and like the dangers that it can bring into our lives if we take it too seriously. I just feel like the risks aren't spoken about enough, because we've got, you know, the likes of Kim Kardashian out here advertising appetite suppressant lollipops and stuff. Shit's just a little bit crazy to me. So for me, having a positive body image starts and finishes with how you see yourself and whether or not you appreciate and respect your body. If we set our sights on having like the perfect body, or what is considered perfect at that time, you know, we're going to spend a lot of our lives chasing like body types or looks or appearances that is actually really unachievable. Trends are always going to change. They're going to come in, they're going to leave just as quickly, they're going to come back around. And if we constantly set our sights on having what's in or what's popular at the time, then we're really putting a limit on how long we're actually allowed to be satisfied with ourselves for, because it's just going to change when the next trend comes in. You know, having a positive view of your own body image is honestly about learning to love your body, not even for the way that it looks, but what it does. Learn to appreciate all of the shit that your body has carried you through, all of the times that you've injured yourself and it's healed itself for you, all of the times that it's carried you through illness. You know, whether it's mental, physical, severe, minor, it got you through it. Anytime that you've had a broken heart, or you've lost someone and had to grieve for them, or had to go through a situation so traumatizing that you're never ever gonna forget it. If you've given birth and brought another life into this world, you know, your body endured 9 months of pushing itself to the absolute limit and then ultimately giving birth to another human. So how dare you sit there and disrespect and criticize your body? Why has it looked after you and carried you and got you out of all of those situations for you to look in the mirror and go, oh, don't like my cellulite, or, you know, my hips are too wide? Like, obviously it's easier said than done, and learning to appreciate yourself and accept yourself for how you are is honestly one of the hardest things to master in life. It is one of our biggest challenges, but you do deserve it. You know, I won't for 1 second sit here and condemn anybody changing their body from the way that it is naturally. Like, that is not the aim, because I don't think that wanting to change the way that things are naturally necessarily equates to like not loving yourself or not appreciating your body. I do think that that's a separate issue, but I want you to develop and find a deep love within yourself for your body, whether it's what you want it to be or not, whether your body fits the mold that you think that it should fit or not. Since I became unwell from my skin condition, my skin has visually changed in so many ways. I'm unable to have smooth legs after hair removal because my hair follicles are always swollen and they're always really sore for days after I have a bath. You know, I haven't been able to sunbathe properly for a really long time because of my allergy to sweat, so my body is a lot paler than I'm used to it being. I have so many new marks and scars and little things on my body that I didn't have before I was unwell. This isn't like, oh my god, poor me, by the way. I literally just wanted to say that sometimes things go wrong with your body, things that you can't control, and what your body does on its own doesn't always align with what you have in your head or what you want in your head, or even what you're used to if your body has changed dramatically after it's had like some sort of trauma. And I personally love and appreciate every single one of my stretch marks and my scars, just because they're part of my story. My life isn't perfect, and my body is a product of every single thing that I have been through in my life to get me right here, right now. Just don't spend too much of your time trying to chase and keep up with these celebrities who literally can make a phone call and get their bum changed or their waist inches smaller. Just don't forget to live and enjoy your life. Like, there's so much more to this life than feeding our vanity and looking in the mirror and expecting perfection. So yeah, that's my view on body image basically. And that is honestly how I stay feeling positive about myself and about my own body. I don't know if this is what you guys actually wanted when you requested body image, because I just feel like there's so many areas to cover, but I just wanted to share how I personally feel about this subject, and I also wanted to share some of the things that really help me to stay loving my body no matter how it changes. I really hope that you enjoyed this Let's Talk About video. I'm so happy to be filming one of these again. Honestly, these are one of my favourite videos to film, and it's always really nice to see when people like share their views down below in the comments as well. So don't forget to share what you think, like whether you think that I missed something really important that I should have mentioned, or if you agree or disagree with anything that I've said. This is a Let's Talk About video, so let's get discussing down in the comments. I'm going to be lurking around there and replying to your comments, so yeah, make sure that you let me know what you think, because I am really curious. So if you're not already, then please make sure that you're following me over on my social media accounts. So Instagram is my favourite, and that is closely followed by Twitter, so make sure that you're following me over there so that you never miss out on any of my updates. Also, I think I'm going to start doing some Twitter polls as well, where you guys can vote for the Let's Talk About topics, so definitely come and follow me over there, because that will really help, and it's good for you guys to have an input in what I put out, because I want to give you videos that you want to actually see. So don't be afraid to connect with me over on other social media. If you guys haven't already, then make sure that you subscribe to my channel and get your post notifications on, just so that you never miss out on any of my new videos. As always, angels, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.